Mother of mercy, I hated the Grinch so much. I could not stand this disgusting piece of sanitized corporate slop with no ounce of personality or wit or charm whatsoever. The animation is literally the only thing worthy of praise in this empty fucking void of quote-unquote entertainment. It made me long for the days of the Jim Carrey Grinch, a movie I really didn't like, but at least I felt something watching that. At least it was funny bad and had a distinct personality to it. Illumination's Grinch is empty and lifeless, completely devoid of anything worth talking about or remembering. The only cultural impact this movie had was when it arbitrarily became the poster boy for an infamous fake Smash Bros. Leak. Without that, there is no reason anyone would talk about this pathetic excuse for a feature film. I feel like most people watching all the Illumination films wouldn't rank this as low as I have, since compared to some of the obnoxious shit present in the studio's other work, this one is pretty tame and inoffensive. But that's just it. I say this time and time again, but I prefer movies that make me feel intense negative emotions over ones where I feel absolutely nothing at all. Except Cars 2, that's kind of a weird exception to the rule, but I digress. I truly felt nothing watching The Grinch. Nothing was entertaining, and everything was subpar outside of the visuals. Banana Mania Cucumber Snatch does this incredibly weird voice as the titular character, and it really doesn't work.
I know just what to do. What is this shit?
I kept picturing someone like Patton Oswalt in this role, and I think it would have turned out a lot better. The voice we got comes across as more weird than nasty and mischievous. Which, by the way, that's the whole character. He's not really villainous at all, he's just a mildly grumpy weirdo who never does anything that lives up to the character's reputation. The original Grinch looked and felt deeply sinister. The Jim Carrey Grinch was a fucking menace to society. This one, he eats a pickle without paying for it, and he knocks a jar off the shelf. Whoa, watch out, we got a bad boy over here. They chalk all of his incredibly mild meanness up to his backstory of never having a family during Christmas time. It's so generic and trite and played out. And even though his backstory in the Jim Carrey version was kinda dumb, I definitely wouldn't call it generic. On top of that, his backstory sometimes causes him to do kind things before he's supposed to have his big redemption at the end. Like in this version, he catches a reindeer, but then lets it go because its family shows up. And he never had a family, so he doesn't want to separate them. Oh no! The other Grinches would have been like tough shit and forced the reindeer to help, only trying to get him back with his family after he has the change of heart at the end. By having him do something completely selfless and kind in the middle of the movie, you basically destroyed the impact of the ending where he's supposed to do his first truly kind act. Which, may I remind you, is the entire point of the story. It's like they were afraid to make him too mean or unlikable because they didn't think kids had long enough attention spans to make it to the end of their bloated, filler-coded bastardization of a classic story in order to see that he ends up good at the end. I have no idea how this studio made an entire film franchise about supervillains, and yet they can't even make the Grinch nasty or threatening. It's really fucking embarrassing. What else is there to say? Pharrell Williams can't narrate to save his life.
It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right.
His voice is so generic and it doesn't fit this story at all. There's a subplot about Cindy Lou Who wanting to trap Santa that doesn't add anything to the story and mainly just exists to pad out the runtime. There's a bunch of bullshit filler scenes of the Grinch preparing to do his heist that aren't fun and don't add anything to the story and mainly just exist to pad out the runtime. The actual story of the Grinch stealing Christmas doesn't start until 57 minutes into this 78-minute movie, once you take out the credits. The credits look like they were made in Microsoft PowerPoint. Like seriously, what is this font and these backgrounds? I can't anymore. This is legitimately worthless. The 60s short is an infinitely better way to experience the story of the book, and the Jim Carrey Grinch is an infinitely better way to experience a hilarious, unforgettable bastardization of the book. This version has no purpose and added nothing to the story of the Grinch or the world as a whole. The emptiness of its existence would be hysterical if it wasn't so truly, truly sad.